I think Microsoft hates its users or thinks we're all stupid. I can't decide which, maybe both. And New Outlook is an absolute crime against humanity. I cannot believe this got shipped and is in the state it is in. And I say all this because I still have a day job. I don't work very much these days, and I don't even take very many support calls. But I was at work the other day. A guy was having an issue, and he was trying to do some discovery with a PST file, and he pulled up his Outlook. Newer guy, and I was like, oh, cool. I don't know why you're using this new Outlook, but sure. Well, I'm sure it has this feature. You couldn't add a PST file. I was like, oh, well, that's kind of needed. And since it was a law firm that I was at, they were trying to open up some EML files. No, those weren't supported either. And I was like, wait a second. What's happening? Like, that's a pretty basic feature. And then I started looking at other features, and then I found this gem of a post on Reddit. This is wild. Like, absolute crazy talk. Like, the new Outlook is just an insult to every single user that has ever used Outlook. And it's wild because Microsoft had a complete monopoly on the market with Outlook, and Outlook was the absolute leader, the tippity top, number one by a mile, stole every good idea from every other client and integrated it in. And that's what you used in business. All through the 2000s, 2010s, that's just what was the deal. I gotta say now, this is actually a less powerful client than Gmail. Your browser has more features than this thing. And this is an app, by the way. It looks like a web page, but it's an actual app that was designed by Microsoft. Again, Microsoft, you really need to start drug testing your project managers and the people programming this stuff. If you work at Microsoft, who's your dealer? Because I always like to throw some shade, but I literally I don't know how this got built like this. What is the deal? Anyways, let's go in and rip this thing apart because I feel like this is just a wild thing. It looks pretty. Let me give it some compliments real fast. Some features added. I will say first on its head, it looks real pretty. The thing is, it feels like it's just really dumbed down, but in a way that removes every single feature that was ever added to Outlook over the past 20 years. And now it's become less than a mail client that you'd see on the web, which removes the ability to, why would you even install this? Why would you even use it? Obviously, this is just a junk account that I'm doing, and I'm going to purge this pile of shit from my computer right after this. I've just been removing it because I was just like, whatever this junk is, I don't want. As I would always just install the old Outlook, or the good Outlook is what it should be referred to, not old, because it was obviously better. So new features: pin, unpin email, snooze email, density of 3 instead of 2, can preview message body next to the subject or the message list. As you see here, let's go here. Like what happened there? Was that an ad? Did I just click on an ad? Okay, let's try that again. Oh, it's an ad. Oh. What the fuck? Seriously. I didn't even know that was a thing. They got ads in the top of their freaking Outlook. What the hell is going on? Microsoft? I mean, what? That is wild. All right, well, continuing on here, we do have I do like the preview better, I guess. All right, let's not completely rip it apart before we go through this. And then we have integrated MS Loop cloud components. I don't know what hipster shit that is, or board. But those are apparently new features. Features removed, customized ribbon. Ribbon cannot be hidden. Preview 1, 2, 3 of the message list. Just to look at this here, I'm going to close this web-based version. I wanted to see the difference between web-based and the actual application. Not too much difference, actually. I feel like this is more of just like a wrapper for a web page is kind of my thoughts here. Is that still going to launch? My word. You gotta be kidding. That is wild. Anyways. Choose columns from message list, separation of categories from subject in the message list. So if you're in your message list, separating the categories, you can still search by category, but you used to be able to really like right click and just say, hey, categorize, or just only show these categories. So like, let's say you have these quick and junk emails that have been coming into here. Let's categorize, and then let's filter by that. There used to be like a filter option directly in the good Outlook. Obviously not in this version. So I don't see anything here. Maybe it is somewhere, or maybe someone will leave a comment telling me how to do that. But right now, let's say we clear all categories. That just clears it for that email. So, okay. Interesting. I know it's still from the search. You could just do Quicken and probably just grab it from here, or maybe categorize. Sometimes you could go category and then do like a colon, and then usually the category from it. But anyways, interesting. Cannot view source from HTML emails. Yeah, that's right. You have a room temperature IQ if you use Outlook New. Why would you ever need to see behind the scenes and view the source of an HTML email? It's not like you actually do work with Outlook, right? You don't actually make like newsletters that might need to change that HTML or tweak some things because it didn't show up properly. Yeah, that's right. Nobody does that anymore. We're just going to ask Copilot to do it for us. Status bar, item count, server connectivity, and zoom level. Now, the old Outlook, or the good Outlook, had like a good status bar down here. We also had like a send and receive button up here, and we could actually give, hey, how many items were in this folder. I guess you can see I have 515 unread items in this folder, but other than selecting them all, does it show what's selected? Let's go select all. Everything is selected. What's the item count? All right, well, interesting choices were made there. Continuing on. Outlook folders, notes view, folders pane, share to teams, send to OneNote, which is kind of funny. Like, a lot of these things I didn't really use too much. I did know one guy that was like obsessed with OneNote at my work. So he's obviously still on the good Outlook. And then, yeah, so send to teams. There was supposed to be some tighter integration with the teams, maybe in the calendar view or something like that. So you have calendar over here. Let's look at that. Now, if we look at our work week, we just have a 5-day view. We have the week view, which is the 7-day view. And then we have the month view. So I imagine there's possibly some kind of integration over here, but yeah, that's unfortunate. Find and replace within message when composing email, doing a Control F. So let's compose a new email. So let's pop that out. I want to get some power. Let's see what we got. Let's see. Let's go test. And then what happens if we just do like a table? And can we go like options or change anything? Just bare bones. Again, oh, you can do a table insert right here if you were going to go something like that, but no actual way to change or format. It does not look like from the actual new Outlook. So much less functionality in that regard. Interesting. PSD file support, also email file support as well. Outlook Today, although might be replaced with My Day or Board. Find and replace when composing, we talked about. Search ribbon, advanced search, Control Shift F. Let's try that real fast. Control Shift F. Yeah, it is gone. Advanced search is no longer there. And if we come into here, can we break this out and do a little more granular search? We cannot. You just have basic search. We'll see. You could try different, like maybe regex or something like that here in a bit. Right click, add to favorites for shared mailboxes. Attaching mailboxes would be kind of interesting as well. Reply to IM, Teams chat with sender. Another thing I've noticed here is with the removal of a lot of the functionality, a lot of on-prem Exchange looks like it's getting sunset. Man, I'm seeing a lot of opportunity for new software developers. With Microsoft dropping the ball this hard, I think we might see a big shift in business email coming up in the future if there's some talented programmers out there, because this is a lot of functionality. Copy email attachments, sort filter options greatly reduced, as we've seen. Rules are far less capable. Can see probably server-side rules you could do on web-based Outlook, but all old Outlook, man, it was very, very powerful. You did have to leave your Outlook open for like a lot of scheduled sends and things like that. So there is some functionality gained by pushing it all to the server side, or in this case, the browser side, because all this really does look like is a browser-wrapped application. OneDrive link does not honor policies and be hidden. To do option opens a browser inside of Outlook. What? To do? Oh, wow. Okay, let's go. It's basically just a browser inside of Outlook. Was it written by a 5-year-old? Wow. No comments for contacts for shared mailboxes. Again, shared mailboxes and also PSD files. I can't reiterate it enough in the business realm. This is used extensively. So these options being missing for years now, especially with the new Outlook, makes this not applicable, meaning we're going to just have to be on legacy software for the foreseeable future until someone makes something better, because I don't think Microsoft is capable anymore of doing it. No print options and contact views. Clean up mailbox is gone. This is where you can actually clean it up directly from your account settings. Send and receive sync now, we already talked about. Creating email signatures via script. Now, what I've done to kind of get around this is I've done this server side and pushed it to something called Code 2. Not a sponsor or anything. I've used them. They're kind of expensive, but if you don't want to mess around with it and you just want to have some email signatures, Code 2 is decent. The reason why I like Code 2 is for standardizing email signatures across the board. So if you're on your phone or your computer or an iPad or something like that, it's always going to have the proper signature, and you don't ever have to attach your signature. It just does it in post after the email sent. It catches it before it goes out and attaches the signature. So not a huge deal, as I usually use a service in this. In the modern day, a lot of people aren't on computers when composing from emails anymore. Recall email, this always kind of sucked. Recall email, if you're unfamiliar with how this worked, when you hit recall email, it would actually send it to an outside party anytime this happened. And then it would draw attention to that email and said, hey, this person wants to recall the email. And they're like, oh, well, let me take a closer look at that email. So honestly, it was always a terrible feature. So I'm not that sad to see that one go. Resend email, work offline. This is a big one. Maybe not so much in today's world with it being completely always connected, but sometimes you just don't have internet connection and sometimes you want to work offline. It's nice. Quick access toolbars and kind of changing the toolbars. This is very, very rigid. I think you can change some of the ribbon now with like a classic ribbon, and then kind of going through and changing it a little bit on the customization side of things, which if we view settings and layout, I think we have some customization here, but it's still very, very bare bones. Accessibility is basically gone. Public folders have to be manually added to favorites to see them. Not a widely used one. Some businesses use public folders more than others, but I've been seeing it used both ways. These days, I don't really use public folders in any of the clients I've gone out to. Using Outlook without a mouse touch is not possible. Oh, that's interesting. To-do bar, replaced by my board. We already talked about that. Rich text, voting options. This is interesting. At one point in time, there was a lot of businesses using voting options, but it's been replaced by MS Forms. This is, depending on the business, this is a huge, huge blow to where they're going to have to use just completely different software altogether, because sometimes Outlook did use this. Does not use Word for email message editor. Again, it's just the fact that they're wrapping it in a browser and not really using anything powerful enough for it. The G Suite and Google will probably be the big place people go from Outlook to. And I could see Google picking up a lot of market share from a lot of these changes. Does not use Word as a description editor for calendar event. Email Composer does not support. Message expiration, hanging indents, reply to alternate address, digital signing, and encrypted emails. That's an interesting choice. Auto pick time for creating emails, high importance, low importance tags for calendar events, dictation. I mean, dictation's kind of a thing of the past for a lot of it. Maybe not so much. Some people today still do stuff like Dragon Naturally Speaking, but still. No way to open address book or create calendar event. Looking at settings option reveals dozens, hundreds of missing options compared to Outlook. As we've seen, there's a ton of stuff missing from the new features. From the comments of this post, you have Alt-R, Alt-W hotkeys, not having Word, we talked about, email ICS, this is calendar entries and external emails, they're independent. COM and VTSO add-ins, this is like legacy support for things that used Outlook or tied into Outlook using add-ins. I remember there was something I used in a lot of businesses called a metadata scrubber. If you're unfamiliar with email, getting into the weeds a little bit here, just know that like you could actually tie in and actually read certain attachments. There's extra metadata associated, like, hey, when was this created? What was deleted in it? Those types of things. And you can actually, you need to clean that metadata. Let's say someone wants to get a little bit, yeah, what are they saying behind the scenes here? What was deleted? What was removed from this document? There's a lot of metadata that's there across both email and also Word and Outlook documents. That's why PDFs were pretty much invented by old Adobe. Mappy is gone. Wow. Message templates, unable to support. 7 days, actually, we looked at that. It looks like that was added back in, and this is a 2-year-old post, so that's there. Task view. To do is the new thing, I guess. Cannot delete attachments from emails, still kept in the email. Interesting. Those are just looks like bugs. Cannot set up multiple languages, read aloud. That's an accessibility option. Right-click message, find related. Really? That's a pretty core feature. Find me related quicken. From sender. Okay, that is there. They added that back in. I was like, nah, that's such a core feature. Surely they'd have to program that in. And they did. So that has been added since this page. Does not support on-prem Exchange server. Yeah, that's not happening. I think they're going to sunset that. Cannot drag and drop emails over Outlook apps. Quick steps. Cannot import holiday into to calendar with the .hol files. I don't think I've ever done that. Cannot minimize to system tray. Oh, yeah. Not a tray icon anymore. It's only an application. Okay, good to know. Cannot view headers or attached emails. Kind of goes to the source. Can't see anything with the source. Gray theme missing. Only white and dark available. And changing icons of quick steps. Wow. Guys, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Other than I think we need to get in the programming sphere. I see a lot of openings. These trillion-dollar companies have gotten so stupid that they can't even make proper software anymore. So, yeah, that's a thing. These trillion-dollar companies have gotten so big, they're so monopolistic now, and they've gotten so comfortable that all they can do, they have the audacity to give out a new Outlook, put ads in it, remove 80% of the features, and then say, hey, we've improved it. And people believe this shit still. That's wild. I mean, it kind of goes back to like the AI stuff. A lot of people are like, AI is going to take over. It's only going to get better for here. And I'm like, it's pretty much all run out of data. And you only have big tech up there kind of at the reins. These guys are stupid. We have idiots running the entire computing realm now. So for anybody looking at this video, just know this is what they've done to Outlook. And there is a ton of room for someone new to come along. Maybe get a quick couple $1 million off of a startup, whether it's your own email host, your own email client. You could do a lot of things with this. And Microsoft, of course, here's how monopolies work. It probably won't, if you're an end user watching this, I'm sorry, you're just screwed, because what'll happen is Microsoft will go, oh, that's a really good product. I'm just going to buy that company. That way I don't have to compete with them. But at the very least, if you're a software development, hey man, all I'm seeing is just 7 figures all over the place, because people will adopt your stuff and use it, because what used to be the market leader is just complete shit now. That is absolutely wild, but I guess I'm here for it. It's very interesting. So with that, let me know your thoughts of the new Outlook. Do you like it? Are you brain damaged? I don't know. Let me know. I thought this was hilarious. I had to do a video. I know it's a little bit of a roast. Sorry if I offended anybody. Unless you work for Microsoft, you're an idiot. You deserve to get roasted. You have made an absolute mockery of a once amazing piece of software, and you have the audacity to call this Outlook fucking ridiculous.